Hey, wonderful, beautiful people, a pleasant afternoon to you. I don't know if this is going to be my fifth and final post on leadership, effective, great leadership, bad leadership, mentorship, and so on. But, let's run with it. Dr. Myles Munroe said the goal to true leadership is to get others to outshine you. Sounds hard, don't it? You say, oh my God, really? And it doesn't mean they're so. And when we say outshine, we're not talking about overthrowing you and that your legacy will not live on. Your name will always be called. Look at all the great people, all the people that would have inspired them to become great. Their names are written in the Lamb's Book of Greatness. All of their names, barring none, are written in the Lamb's Book of Greatness. If you research all the mentors to the great Martin Luther King, late Martin Luther King Jr., you will see all the mentors that would have contributed to his growth and to his development, even though he would have superseded them. His father was deliberate and intentional in him becoming better than he did. He may not have known how far and far-reaching he would have become. So the goal to true leadership is to get others to outshine you, to become better, and you take the credit. That is what the poor leader cannot understand. The credit are gonna come to them because it has to be on the training of others, under the guides, under the auspices of others, so that your name is gonna be called. If you only understood that phenomenon, you would not envy and be jealous of other people, and you will just immediately start training. You'll become a great leader immediately. You'll become a great leader and empowering others to become great leaders. That is the legacy you are leaving behind. It is not stealing your thunder. Your thunder is not stolen. It cannot be. If I made this car, I just made this car, for example. If I did it, that is wisdom. And you should rejoice. For those who may need to understand what rejoice means, he says means to return, and joyce means to jump. That is why when you rejoice, it must be hilarious. It must be with excitement. You're jumping back and forth. Back, you're returning, joyce, jumping. Mavericks will give you ideas to break up tradition. Poor leaders don't like mavericks. They're not linear, they're quantum. They're like a paradigm shift. Now, tradition may sometimes prove to be worthwhile, and it doesn't mean that a maverick will not embody that, but the maverick says there's greater. Jesus says you're going to do greater works. You are like mavericks. Poor leaders do not reproduce other leaders because they have a dictatorial spirit, or they have a dictatorship spirit. They love to tell people what to do. That is not something God-given. God is not in the business of control in the way we look at control, because the etymology of control is witchcraft. A lot of people don't understand that or know that. If you try to control, you're embodying witchcraft. You think it's just hocus pocus, boogly woogly? No. That is why God gave us volition to even choose against him. He doesn't control us. That was just one of his standard, his principle. That is why the scripture says he draws close to you if you draw close to him. He's not going to force himself on you. Now, God may allow situations to happen that may cause you to come to him. He's not going to force, but if you refuse him, he will back off. It's like love. Love, no, you don't force. You may have to use wisdom and wit to get things done, but you don't force. Don't ever do it. Don't tell people what to do, especially big people. You don't tell people what to do. Now, if your job description is given in an organization, the people are required, because you're paying them to do. When I say you, I don't mean the immediate boss, but the employer. So they must do. If not, then they need to go. Simple as that. But don't force and tell people what to do. They don't train, poor leaders don't train and allow people to solve problems by themselves. They micromanage, they take over everything. They don't want the person to solve, because if they solve, they feel the credit is going to go to them and not, is going to go to the solvers and not the leader, and they want to take that. That's an arrogant, proud spirit that is devilish. Because power shares. Must say that because of my That's what Henry Ford did. That's why to this day sees vehicle. And Henry Ford was not an educator. I'm just hired the different people and give them the credit. But in turn, the credit comes back to them. Him can't sow that seed and it not comes back to him because of Henry Ford. He allowed them to solve the problem. They are the bright ones, them know it, but he had a business mind. He had a vision. I'm going to allow them to do it, to manage it. And I'm the overseer. God's concept is to have organization of leaders, not a leader solely. Not a leader, an organization with just a leader. Or an organization of leaders. Allow people to make decisions. People want to feel a sense of autonomy and contribution in making decisions. And that is why with mentorship says, be honest with correction and praise. So if there's a problem, say, come here, there is a problem. We need to correct it. You can do it firmly, but respectfully. Because it's part of your training. Give each person recognition and praise. Affirm him or her. Affirm people. Give them recognition and praise. Reward sweetens labor. People are built on words and on deeds. Not just deeds, but on words. Not just salaries. But to empower them. Let them know. Let it go into their muscle memory. In their psyche. Individually go and say, this person, you did very well. You're great at this. And ensure that you're coming from a good place. Look at what the organization needs and start preparing and training people to fill those positions. Don't be envious or jealous. It is about the greater good. Whether the positions are coming or emerging, you know that you have this coming up, you know who will fit the bill right away. Automatically, you know who should get that. So you train, you begin, so they sharpen their tools. Manage things and develop people, not manage people and develop things. Sounds very hard. You can't manage people. People are complex all over the place. You don't even know. No matter how you see people smiling with you, they could have smile like till like, and them could have, and they hate you with a passion. A lot of people know how to mask that. A lot of people pretend. In fact, at some point, everybody probably pretend. It sounds awful to say that. Because their hands are in the lion's mouth. Them have to just pretend until the lion open up the mouth so they can take time pull it out. So people can laugh, skin teeth and go on the most way. And I think how to get rid of you. How them can't stand you because they think you're too much. Or they think you're this one whole heap of things. So don't watch that. Don't manage things and develop people. That's a good leader. The other way around is unwise and it hinders growth and development. It stunts it. If you micromanage, it means that both you and your staff are untrained or just you. Just you. Be an equipment manager and a people developer. Not a people manager and equipment developer. Mentoring has to do with association, not instruction. You mentor people, you show them the way. That's what Jesus did. He demonstrated. A lot of his teaching was, he said parables, he said things, but he followed up with action, showed them. He showed them in a gentle, respectful, compassionate way. Jesus was the most compassionate being that we could ever see. The people that we cuss and tear and throw aside, him come to them gently. That is part and parcel why they were changed. He mentored them. He trained them. Where needed to get strong and get irate, he did. But still love was embodied. What we call tough love today. And it is through association that true transformation takes place. Mentees must be present with their mentors. You don't hide things or hide away from them. You're out and they say, come, today's your day. We're going to go on. So for example, if you know you go to certain meetings and you know that somebody will be good at it, you let them come with you to see how it is done. Don't stop fretting that they're going to be better. It is good if they're better. Why you want it to remain the same? You want changes and your name will be called. You're going to take the credit. Stop the bad mind and the envy and the jealousy. Once you feel it's a God, I feel this, move it from me. Instantaneously. Move it from me. Move it from me. Don't micromanage. Let the mentee be around you to see how it is done. And if you know that you're not so good at it, you find your mentor and as you get trained, you pass that on to somebody else. Empty yourselves. Because if you hoard it, you're going to swell up like a bullfrog and nobody knows that you know this. So you're going to seem dunce to them. You're going to seem illiterate to them. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe and give me one of those lions. Thank